today, starting a part two. Um, Ended that part talking about how Myers basically glorifying and expecting me to like it, my ex-boyfriend, which that's a slap in the face. But really, that just leads into the main point about that I was trying to make. Um, I'm relating to Bella Swan in the sense that I am watching her have a bad breakup with an abusive boyfriend. I'm not relating in the sense that I too felt an epic love or any of that. No, I'm seeing a mirror image of myself and my ex and a similar situation. And if that's not some proof that these two are not even epic love, I don't know what is. But another point on that one, there's a ton of similarities between these two and my relationship with my ex. Um, Bella pushing her parents out of her life. A lot of abusive boyfriends do that. They cut the parents out. But, again, Edward working the exact same way my ex did. He gets Bella to do it for him. I mean, if you've read Hyde's recap of Midnight Sun, or if you haven't, let me remind you what he said. He basically does say that he wants to cut everyone out of her life. He really does. I'm not joking. I can't find the passage. I don't remember where it is. And I kind of am doing this on the fly. But he actively says he wants to cut everyone out of her life so he can have her all to himself. I think it's in chapter 11. But notice he doesn't really actively do it himself. The most he does is with, like, guys, like threatening to castrate them. But notice it's Bella who does all the pushing. She's the one who shoves her parents out of her life. This whole time in chapter 3, she's talking about how she's going to go away with Edward, and because she can live with that. She can't live with him leaving, but she can live with leaving her family forever. She actively says this. She can do that because she just can't stand to be away from Edward. And that's the level of control he has over her. He's getting her to do things he wants of her own free will. He wanted to cut everyone out of her life. So he manipulates her in a way that she just does it for him. And that's exactly what my ex-boyfriend did. He manipulated me in so many ways that I started just pushing my family out. I never listened to them. They knew he was bad news and they tried to warn me. I never listened because they just didn't understand. That familiar? Yeah, so it's the exact same thing, and I'm sitting here watching this, and I just want to shake Meyer until her teeth rattle. Because that's not good. For someone who always talks about how family is supposed to be everything, why are you treating it so horribly? I just don't get it. I really don't. It drives me crazy. And I hope that right there is somewhat of an explanation as to why I couldn't take this, because I hated watching a rerun of the worst time in my life. I know I'm only 25, but I'm sitting here watching what is probably going to be the worst point in my life. And I'm watching her do this, and I can just see Meyer's smug face and how wonderful she thinks this is, and how it obviously shows their deep connection. If they had a deep connection, they would have talked about this, but both of them ignore it. They're ignoring an elephant in a room. I ignored a lot. I ignored a ton. My ex and I never truly talked about anything. And then every time I would look back on that, when I was first broken up with him, I realized just how little we did talk about things that were important, and how much we disagreed on, and how much our tastes were so opposite. We were not meant to be together. together at all. I mean, at all. And yet, I'm supposed to expect. I'm expected to believe that this was love at first sight. No, it's not. They don't talk about anything. Bella thinks Edward's leaving. Does she ask him about it? No. She just wanders off in La La Land thinking about palm trees and sandy beaches and all the exotic locales that she and Edward are going to go to. Edward's worried about Bella's soul. Does he tell her that? No, he doesn't. All he says to her is, I'm not going to change you. And, she never even bothers asking why. She just stomps her feet and says, that's not fair. They never talk. They never ask each other why. Nobody ever asks the question, why? Even when Edward is leaving, she's not asking, why? She's really not. She's not asking why. She's just saying, no, don't go. I can't live without you. Take my soul. It's nothing without you. Blah, blah, blah. She never just asks, why? She never does. She never asks for any explanations of his actions. And he never offers any. Just like with me. I never asked for explanations of my ex's actions, and he never offered me explanations. I can count the times that I asked him, why are you doing something? And he explained it. It was total BS, of course. It just... I hate having to watch my life again. I know it's completely unrealistic, and she's not totally like me, but so much of it is. And as I said in part 1, I could not make that funny. There's no way I can go back and make from 15 to 22 amusing. I can't do that. I can't look back and laugh at some of the things I did with my ex-boyfriend, because all of it ultimately led to a mental hospital. Yeah, I checked into a mental hospital for like 4 or 5 days after I broke up with him, because I was having so many problems. And that actually happens to Bella, we find out. Charlie wants to send her to a psychiatrist or someone, and she immediately refuses it, because no one would believe her, of course. Like, no. They didn't want to send you to a psychiatrist because of vampires, okay? They wanted to send you to a psychiatrist because you are screwed up. And I knew I was screwed up, so that's why I went to a mental hospital. I sought help. Bella doesn't. She just wallows in it. She indulges it. She actively keeps stirring it up, and she just... sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I've got to get back on track. She is delusional. That's really all there is to it. She is totally delusional. And Edward is a sicko. And, it's... the whole thing during the breakup scene. Well, kind of. Not really a breakup, but we'll indulge Meyer. She never once questions him, because he jumps from excuse to excuse, trying to find one that maybe she'll buy, eventually having to end on, I don't love you anymore. And it reminds me of Pod People, when he's trying to get Trumpy to go away, or Harry and the Hendersons. That's one thing that made me laugh. And yeah, he just sits there and jumps from excuse to excuse to excuse, trying to land on one that maybe will make her go away, Shane, go away. And she never once questions this. She never once asks, okay, these reasons you're kind of reason hopping here. They can't all be true. She never points out any of the holes or anything. She just believes it and doesn't question it. She just begs him not to go. Approaching 10-minute mark. Tune in for part 3